Hello and welcome back to another Honkai Impact 3rd video. Today we are going to talk about how you get and use Asterites in Honkai Impact 3rd. Asterites are a type of currency that you're going to use to primarily exchange for unit fragments to unlock a lot of good support units. So first we're going to go to Attack, we're going to click on the Start tab, and we're going to click on Material Expedition. Now the one that we want here is called Time Works. There is a weekly limit to how many times you can do this in a week, and you do need to get all 3 medallions in the stage in order to fast clear it. You can tell if you can fast clear a stage if you see this rocket ship. Now ideally you'll just be doing this as part of your dailies. You're going to unlock the highest level that you can do with the maximum amount of medals in each stage, and then you're just going to click down here where it says Quick Out Light. And Quick Light is just going to auto-complete them, and it's going to give you some materials. It should cost 115 stamina if you have every stage completely cleared. And you're at 1620 asterite per day when you do this. Now the next best way to get asterite is you're going to click on Dorm, and you're going to click on Dorm Errands. And you're going to send out as many of these as you can. Now most of these errands will take between 12 and 16 hours, and you need a lot of units to clear them, but what you will get in exchange for these errands is you will get this work point card, and you can use this in the dorm shop. So in the dorm shop we are going to be able to exchange 250 of the work points cards for 1200 asterite. And it's not really that bad of an exchange rate, so maybe, you know, you get a combination of missions every day, so maybe 3 or 4 missions per 1200 asterite. Which is pretty good considering that the missions are just a passive gain. You just send them out, wait for them to come back, you don't have to do anything else with it. Now, those are the 2 most reliable ways of getting asterite, but I do want to point out that you can get some asterite at the beginning of the week from the weekly share. You'll note you get 300 asterite. You'll also get some asterites from doing the weekly quiz, but you won't get a whole lot of them. And you'll also get some asterites from completing the Abyss. However, because those are limited amount per week, that's why I choose to focus on the Time Works Quick Clear stage, because it's the most reliable way of getting asterites, besides the dorm missions. Now, in order to spend the asterites, we are going to click on Supply, we're going to click on Shop, and we are going to go down to where it says Basic Currency. And this is the asterite shop. So on the first page we have some materials. We have weapon forging materials. You will also get these from Realms of Battle. The Astrolop and Elf Skill material, again, you get some every week from Realms of Battle. And then there are some other items in here: skill material, stigmata reforges, these forging materials for purple quality weapons and stigmata, weapon materials, these tasty desserts that you need for dorm missions. So basically just some random items on this page for the most part. The main thing we want to focus on is the tab at the top where it says Fragments. So you will note that there is a weekly cap on most of these fragments. For example, here's Old Odricio. You can only get 50 of her fragments per week. And as you can see, I can only get about half because I don't have a ton of asterites myself. So total, it would cost you probably almost close to 30,000 asterite to get those 50 fragments every week. Now, when you have a unit unlocked, it'll tell you the amount of fragments you need to rank them up to the next rank. So for example, to get to S with the first star, I need 60 fragments. I have 10 right now. And then you can unlock all of these different units. These units will all be marked with SP in the units tree, and that stands for support. But if you are missing characters of that element, you can also play them as a DPS. And then there are parts for Jiangwei's Wings, and then the Blood and Grace, which are 2 different elves. These are part 1 support units. In part 2 we have Astrolops, but you can only use Astrolops with part 2 characters. So these are going to be your little part 1 support items. Jiangwei's Wings is an all-purpose. She kind of does a heal, which is nice. And then there are these boxes. This box here contains fragments of older units. All of these can be farmed from material expeditions, so I do not recommend using Asterites on them unless you're really close to ranking one up and that is your favorite character, you love them a lot and you just want them to be ranked up, such as if you're ranking up Midnight Absinthe or Swallowtail Phantasm, also known as Zila. Here we have Augment cores. Now these I would say are a worthwhile investment. This upgrades a unit into basically an entirely different unit with an entirely different skill set. So we've got Fervent Core, which upgrades Molotov Cherry to Fervent Tempo. We have the Twilight Core, which upgrades the Violet Executor to Twilight, I forget what her name is, Twilight Phantasm, I think. We've got the Danzai Core, which upgrades Shadow Dash to the Danzai Spectromancer. Fog Chip, this upgrades Valkyrie Exhibitor to Hawk of the Fog. Ephanion, which upgrades Valkyrie Ranger to Void Drifter. Kometa Core, which upgrades the Yamabuki Armor to Drive Kometa. Drive Kometa is actually a very useful shielder and debuffer. And then we've got Fulminata Core, which upgrades the Valkyrie Blade Strike into Striker Fulminata. So these are worth investing into because you do need to reach a 4-star Augment Core in order to get the outfit for that character as well. Now looking at these different fragments, I'm briefly going to talk about each one. Some I have a little bit more experience with than others. So first, obviously down at the bottom, I bought these out for the week, which is why they're down there, but we've got Coralie and Helia. These are your Part 2 units. Obviously you should be getting these every week because you want to max them out, since they're the most recent support characters and you're going to be using them in all the Part 2 content. And then we'll just start at the bottom. So we've got Darkbolt Jonin. She is a Thunder support. She's a version of Yay. She's not too bad. I've got to be honest, I don't really use mine, so I can't talk a whole lot about her. Starlight Astrologo, she is a physical support. She performs a joint on-field attack, and she also gathers enemies. I think she's pretty useful. I like using her just because she performs the joint attack, so you don't actually have to switch out, which is nice. We've got Haxor Bunny. This is also known as Silver Wolf of Honkai Impact. And so what she does is she also does a joint attack without swapping out, which is very useful because it cuts down on the amount of swapping out you need to do when you're doing your QTE attacks. And so I would say she's a very excellent character. We've got Fischl. If you play Genshin, here's Fischl. You're doing exactly the same gameplay in either game. You're summoning Oz. Oz does all of the damage. Very easy to use. Here we've got Carol Pepper, also known as Sweet and Spicy. She is a physical support, kind of more towards a physical DPS almost. I haven't really played her a whole lot, so I can't really tell you a whole lot about her. I've got Reverse Calico. She is also known as Pardophilis. She's an excellent ice support. She stacks Rhyme Trauma on enemies, and she's a cat. I love cats. I have cats. Cats are amazing. Her ultimate summons a giant cat that just comes down and smashes everything. So therefore, I'm gonna say she is an excellent character. Maybe you might not use her if you're using Kira or Haxor, but she's excellent. Then we've got Eden, Golden Diva. She is a lightning support. She also regenerates SP for the team. SP, when used in that word context, means skill points, even though when you see SP on a unit, it means support. So it means a bunch of different things depending on where you see it. But she is generally an all-around great unit. We have Younger Drissio. I'm not very experienced with using Younger Drissio, but she is a bleed support. You can use her with older Drissio, so it's like Drissio, both of them in the same team, just at different stages of her life. Drissio Inception, that's the word that I'm looking for, Inception. Yeah. Then we've got Chrono Navi, also known as A, Hyperion, the Cabbage. She loves cabbages, her hair is green like cabbages. There's a whole lot of memes and anime, manga about her and the cabbages. She is a fire type support. She is pretty much the only fire support in here, so you're just going to be getting her and upgrading her. She is an excellent support as well, because what she does is she summons a bunch of fire circles and pulls enemies in and constantly deals ignite damage. We've got Valkyrie Quicksand, or Susanna. She is a bleed type support. Playing her is kind of like playing a rhythm game. I hope you like rhythm games. If you don't like rhythm games, maybe not for you, but she is a very strong character and very easy to use if you can get the rhythm game down. I find it a lot easier to do on mobile than it is on PC. Here we've got Prometheus. Prometheus is my favorite battlesuit. She is a shielder. She has a shield. The shield stays on the character on the field, and she also does very excellent personal damage, so if you are missing a physical damage dealer, you can just use Prometheus. Here we've got Sugary Starburst, or Kira Shigure. She has like a ice gun. She does ice damage. She works really well in ice teams. Mostly you're going to be quick swapping to her to cast her ultimate and then swapping back out. But she does provide a lot of good ice damage. And then of course we've got Older Tricio. She is a bleed support. If you do not have Senadina, this is the only other SD type unit that's available currently, so you're going to be getting her. She does quite excellent. I have mine. She doesn't have any of her signature gear because I tried pulling for it and I did not get lucky, but I will tell you that she performs just fine with the crafted generic gear from the Foundry. So you can just slap generic items on her and she does very decent. And that's all the units in here. I do want to touch on a couple of units from the basic material expedition box. Probably the best ones you can get from here if you are using this box for Asterite, or if not, if you just want to hear about the material expedition ones. Midnight Absinthe, or Natasha Ciora. She is a fire DPS. You can use her in a fire team. Her quick swap is also great. So if you don't have a lot of fire characters, what you might want to do is have her and A-chan. They're fine. Valkyrie Deloria is a fire support Durandal. And then Sela, the Swallowtail Phantasm, is a basic Quantum Sela. If you don't have any other Zelas, that's the one that you're going to use. Most of these other characters are just going to be for the expeditions. Let me see here. Yes, Yamabuki Armor. This is what upgrades into Drive Komata. I think that would probably be one of the best ones to upgrade with the Augment core if you're doing the Augment core path. But basically you're just going to be getting the ones that have the weekly limit on them are going to be the best ones here. And so that is everything about the Asterite shop and how you get the Asterites. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section of this video. And I hope you learned some good information, and I will see you back in another Honkai Impact 3rd guide.